Yeah, I'm doing good. 2024 starting off great. I'm so excited. I wasn't expecting to be on the Anaheim card. I was talking to my fans, man, when would you guys like to see me fight again and everything? And I actually went to the Honda Center for Disney on Ice to the Anaheim's game. So I was like, man, imagine fighting here and everything like that. And then I get the call, oh, we have a fight for you short notice. I'm like, oh, sweet Anaheim, yay! So
Right,
yeah,
you're
I
close
couldn't
to
be
home.
happier. Yeah.
That's amazing. Was it a hard? It doesn't sound like it was. Was it a hard decision to take the fight on short notice, or were you like instantly, I'm in?
No, I mean it wasn't instantly, but I mean it wasn't hard. It definitely wasn't hard. It was like when you put on the scale, there's like 10 great things. And I mean the only bad thing was just like if I get another loss and then it'd be like two in a row,
Right.
So and then I thought about like, man, how many fighters, even like Yan Xiaonan who's fighting for the belt right now, when she beat me, she was coming from two losses and then right away came back to the belt. Amanda Lemos just fought for the belt, and she
Right.
she had actually lost to Jessica. Brennan was cut from the, so you start putting into
Right.
perception. You're like, okay, it's not that bad, if anything. But we're coming. It was actually good. Four weeks. I'm kind of a little bit overthinker. I'm like want everything to be perfect, and
Right.
when I have too much in a camp, I start thinking about the fight. I start thinking about how am I training? Am I doing the right things? 4 weeks was just trust the process, kill or be killed, let's go for it. I don't care
Yeah.
how I look. It's like I just made sure I trained my strength training, make sure I
Yeah.
don't, die on the gas tank.
Right.
Everything else, I'm going on it. And I still was able to correct the mistakes. Amanda's similar to Jessica, it's not the
Yes.
same, but that knockout power, it's a little bit similar. So I'm able to correct my mistakes very soon, so I'm very fortunate for that.
And right, you bring up you don't want to lose, and you have not done a lot of losing in your career. Obviously, you don't want to lose two in a row. The other side is that is she, you're seven now, so you're right there. Amanda's third. Last I looked, big opportunity. You go in there, you win, and then hey,
Right.
maybe you're sitting at three, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like, man, I just came off a loss and to be given I mean it's a tough opponent. That was the
Yeah.
only thing. I'm like, man, Amanda Lemos. I imagine it's a fight that makes sense,
Yeah.
so I imagine that eventually I was gonna fight her, but I was kind of expecting to when I would fight her would be, really good train. But man, like I said, 2024 started out so good, just like that whole page has been turned of everything I was going through kind of in my personal life the last year and a half. And in this 4 weeks, I was able to train more than I was in the 2 months for Jessica, So
Wow.
I feel even when people ask me like, oh, what do you see for the year? Like, man, I see a belt for me, by the end of the year. It's like I feel more ready for a belt now of how much I'm able to dedicate myself to that goal right now than I did, coming off of last year, So that's why she's a tough fight. But like I said, I kind of 4 weeks, I didn't even have time to like down anything. I my coach said I'm 100% attendance on all my training. He gave me an A++ on my training. So definitely as a fighter, we know wins or losses are part of the game, no matter what. Problems, no problems, perfect camp, not perfect camp. But definitely you go into a fight way more confident and prepared for the best when you train the best you could.
Do you think Amanda or Mackenzie, it would be you beat Amanda and then title shot? Do you think you'd have to fight another fight after this upcoming fight? Or how do you think that might play out?
I mean, honestly, the way the division is, and how like Yan Shanon's fighting Zhang Weili.
Yeah.
I had like a split decision, loss to Yan. Um, just kind of like the mix of how it is, depending on where I would go with, depending how I won, if I got rid
Right.
of submission, everything like that. I think potentially, yeah, I could go to a title after that. I think especially the UFC, they have everything involved. I mean, it's marketing, it's fan base, it's
Yes.
all that stuff is behind it. It's the way you win. It's who's up next. Who would win the belt. Who would win
Yep.
the belt? UFC 300. So who would make sense to fight later? Maybe a rematch with Yan if Yan was to win would make sense. Or something like that.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's a possibility. I need to think about Amanda first. But definitely I was there live in Boston when she fought for the belt. And I was very surprised when I saw Zhang Weili kind of out grapple her, you know, took her down, and basically the 5 rounds was out grappling her and keeping her on the ground, and kind of grounding and pounding and stuff like that. So I was like, there's that's the route for me, you know. That I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I saw on
Yeah.
both sides. I was like, dang, okay, Jane's working her, she's working her grappling, and Amanda, if I'm gonna fight her, you already know that's what I'm gonna go do. So it was good.